Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, really, right? This is Wales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Interestingly enough, there was a little mess of noise going on right before the end of the intro. That's why it took me like a second to get off of mute. I mean, crazy, and it just got quiet. Wow. Anyway, shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys are having an amazing Friday so far. I know some people are not gonna have an amazing future. That's for sure. Because it seems like a lot of folks just really do not understand what's going on. You know, and it's kind of crazy because we've only been talking about it for 2 years. You know, everybody wished they were there on January 5th, 2020 to buy that low. Shout out to you, brother. And here we are with nothing but time for people to replicate that same action, right? Only during a more elongated process. Because, of course, it would be nice to be able to buy a couple million hex for a couple $100 or $100 or whatever it was. But, you know, that opportunity is never coming back again. But here we are with another opportunity that presents itself where not only do you have the opportunity to lay fresh capital on the line at prices that, you know, nobody really thought we were going to see them again. But if you're staked, do you even understand what's happening? Because I really feel like everybody's just been lying. Because when I look at Twitter, I don't get the vibe that motherfuckers understand what's going on at all. Like, period. Like, you can do whatever you want with your money, but don't impose your faggot ass opinion on people that might or might not have a clue when you clearly do not, but yet you're speaking like you do. Yeah, I guess I might do them soon, man. I'm sorry. I just been lazy and working on my retirement. I I'm like whatever with people. But I guess I shouldn't take that out on the rest of you guys. But yeah, I'll update them soon, man. But when I look at Twitter, I just see it plain as day that people are either lying this whole time, or they really just didn't understand what they were doing, and they're reaching now for anything that can help them get money. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Because cats are clearly broke out here. So they're doing the dumbest shit to make some money. That's what I see. Because how do you go from understanding staking to not even acting like it exists? Correct. This is what I surmise as well. They all lying. And I've been saying it for a while, right? But today, and I said this also a while ago, Pulse Chain is bringing out all the fakes. It's really bringing them out. And they use the adoption narrative, Pulse Chain, and all this corny ass shit. Yet what don't they do? They don't promote Pulse Chain. They don't promote PulseX. They don't promote Hex. Hell, they don't even understand what the fuck they're promoting. Right? And we'll get into that because that's pretty important. You cannot treat every asset as if it's the same. I mean, I talked about this years ago too. I mean, I don't understand where people come off thinking everything is the same. Hex is not Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is not PulseX. PulseX is not Hex, and Pulse Chain ain't Hex. It's really simple. So people thinking or talking or writing like they are, they don't get it. And if you're in that camp that doesn't entirely get it yet, you're best served to sit the fuck down and do nothing until you do. It's really simple because all you're going to do is make a move that you didn't want to make. Think about that. Because that's exactly how the shit works. Everybody did it at the beginning with Hex. That's why they had to reconfigure their fucking staking ladders. Yes? We all know this story, yes? We all know it. We should. Because I see the same thing happening again. I mean, you got morons out here selling their bags. It's one thing to scrape, take a little cash off the top, yada yada. It's nothing to pretend like there's something else to be doing or somewhere else to be putting your money. Because again, is there really? I mean, that's a real question. And I know a lot of people out there pretend to have the answer, but they don't. And anytime you see these fools jump on these streams, all they do is confirm that. That's all they do. Now, for the longest time, I had an open invite to all these fools out here, and none of them ever stepped up to the plate. And this was during the bear market, as Hex was going down. None of them bitches stepped up to the plate. Not one. They'll ask me to come and show their bullshit, though, but they didn't want to come and debate the facts. So, Hex is meant to be a long-term investment vehicle, right? That's what it's meant to be. Now, you have the option of investing or locking up your Hex or whatever from day zero all the way, or from day one all the way out to 15.2 years, 5,555 days. Okay? That's what hex is for. Pretty cut and dry. Pulse chain, not like that. Pulse X, not like that. So I don't understand why people are trying to compare them. Anybody comparing them literally does not know what the fuck they're talking about. So you're best served ignoring whatever the fuck they're saying. And that's just a plain fact. I mean, come on. Where the fuck are we? This ain't even the fucking Twilight Zone. It's really not. It's more like retards are us. I mean, it's disgusting out here. It's like I gotta stream every day just to fucking deflect nonsense and bullshit and fucking made up crap. And you know what the sad fact is that a lot of the bullshit people make up that sounds plausible only because the masses at large do not educate themselves, thus allowing these bullshit narratives and thoughts to fucking permeate the space as if they're valid. And motherfuckers can't even sit here and note the fucking simple fact that if they have T-shares, they're buying the dip every single day. They're accumulating crypto every single day. Is that not the point of what we're supposed to be doing? That's what I thought. I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing, accumulating crypto all the time. But it seems like people forgot that. They're out here chasing these elusive X's that they can't find because guess what? The X's you're looking for that you're going to try to extract are going to extract them from you first. That's how it works. Because unless you're tied in and one of the first people in, whatever fucking Fugazi coin, guess what? You're exit liquidity, motherfucker. There's no opportunity in that. You missed it. Pretty simple. You know, it's crazy. You know, I don't know if it's really shiny object syndrome or just the simple fact that people are desperate or I don't know what. Because it honestly does not make any sense. We've been talking about this for years. You know, when Hex is doing what it does and it reverses, you know, your P&L is going to be ridiculous. It's not going to make any sense to you. It's not. Because you're accumulating every single day X amount of crypto at Y price. So you're essentially recalibrating your entry price daily when you have T-shares. I mean, I don't understand why I have to sit here and break this level of fucking retardedness down. Like, do you just not care about your pocket? That you're willing to listen to any fucking schmuck that goes on fucking YouTube that's showing their fucking face with a goddamn stupid fucking smile on to lie to you about the next stupid fucking thing to take your money? And I mean, these guys aren't even smart. They're not even showing you anything. They're just lying to you and you're just buying it. These are the same motherfuckers that shit talk me yet don't have any proof to substantiate any of their fucking claims when all I've done is show and prove. Period. Just because you cannot grasp how a market works doesn't mean anything. Because how else does Hex just randomly rip fucking X's off people's faces? Just like it dumps hard, it's gonna rip hard. It's not rocket science. Why do people continue to pretend to understand what they clearly do not? I mean, you got people emergency ending stakes to provide liquidity. I mean, that's next level stupid. Next level stupid. Like, yo, if you that broke, go sell fucking drugs, homie. You're not gonna fucking make it. Get a fucking job. Go work in Mickey D's. Whatever the fuck you gotta do, do it. Cause you ain't making it. You're just not. You can't grasp the difference between three different asset classes, and you out here pretending to tell motherfuckers what to do, how to do it, why you think it's the right thing to do, and yippity doo dah and all this fuckery. Like, come on, man. Stop pretending. At the end of the day, you're gonna look like a fuck face. Time provides clarity, and motherfuckers don't forget. Just like motherfuckers still talk to me about that stupid ass $10 call, but yet they forgot everything that was said prior to the number. They only mentioned the $10. Isn't it funny? Every time. I get it every time, even from the so-called smart people. Bunch of fucking morons. Everyone. Like, that's what it just looks like nowadays. A sea full of fucking morons. It's just disgusting. I wish we were in a public setting where everybody was physically located in some proximity to each other. None of this shit would be occurring. None of it. Because how can you sit here with a straight face and just be dead fucking wrong and lie? On the internet, it's easy because you can hide behind the screen. Oh, but Wills, you don't show your face. Oh yeah, well, all the guys that show their faces lie, cheat, and steal to you in your face. And what do you do about it? Not a motherfucking thing. So shut the fuck up. Fucking clowns everywhere. I swear to God. And then the people that try to act all altruistic about being fucking public don't say or do a motherfucking thing about the motherfuckers that are out here scamming motherfuckers showing their face. So what better are you, motherfucker? You're not any better at all. You're just another part of the crew. Because guess what? Tacit approval is the same thing as doing and saying nothing. So you're approving these actions by pretending that showing your face is some type of fucking badge of honor. It's not, cocksucker. If it was, motherfuckers wouldn't be scamming you to your fucking face. It's comical how dumb people are. Ugh. How people just want to pick what they want to pick to make it what they want to make it. And look, everybody's guilty of doing it. I'm not saying I'm special in that regard. What I am saying, though, is that you need to get knocked upside the fucking head when you're doing it to understand that you're doing it because you don't really want to be doing it. That's all. Why you gotta be so mean, Wales? Because you a bitch. That's why. And until you get knocked upside the head, you're not gonna know you're being a bitch. That's just how it works. How much pain must you endure before you rectify your behavior? Maybe a little tough verbal love will help you rectify this shit sooner. I don't know. You're welcome, maybe, is something you could fucking say. Thank you. You're welcome. You're fucking welcome. I mean, you people are fucking insufferable. I've been saying the same thing on repeat since 2021, January. The motherfuckers are still pretending like I'm saying some brand new shit. Like they don't know what to do. Like it's, I don't know, 1950 and none of this shit's ever been said before. I don't know. Oh, man. Look, all I know is keep doing what you're doing because my bag is getting fat. That's all I can say. Because I'm doing the math. I don't give a fuck about nobody's opinions. I didn't have no stupid ass strategy coming in the post chain that I'm not even using because I can't. Like, you know, learn to shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, and pay attention to what the market is providing you with in terms of opportunity. That's what people need to be doing, not pretending that they understand some shit that they don't understand. I mean, how many times do we have to see the same narrative get thrown around where people lie to Hexicans about projects and what they're doing and what they're gonna bring to the table and all this and that? Like, yo, get it through your thick fucking skull. Promote the shit that matters or get the fuck out of here. Everything else is just vampire. Period. It's that simple. Because guess what? None of that other shit promotes the right financial habits that's going to allow the small guy to not be the small guy in the future. And this is what people don't want to understand. They want to pretend that they can just catch these 50x, 100x, whatever x rip moves. And they're not. They're not going to catch them. Because what they don't understand is by the time they hear about it, they are food. They are not participating in the event. They are becoming the end of the event. That is how it works. This is why Hex, no matter how expensive or cheap the T-share is the winning move. Because over time, the mistake you made entering, whether you entered at the perfect time, meaning the bottom, or at the top, meaning the worst time, the T-share will do the job of dollar cost averaging your entry all the way down as low as possible. Because that's how math works, people. I don't know why this is so fucking hard. But if you catch yourself with small bags running around here, making moves you cannot make, chasing fools that are chasing, they're pumping their own bags, they're not helping you, then you deserve what you're going to get. Plain and simple. Because why do people have to go out and promote speculation if it's so lucrative and something that they can do and they're so good at it and all this and all that fancy shit? Think about that. Why does anybody have to tell you to follow them to make money? Why? They should just be able to tell you how to do it and you should be able to execute if it was so fucking easy. Isn't that right? Think about that. The next time you see these clowns telling you to follow them and all this bullshit, it's so fucking easy, isn't it? That's why everybody's fucking paid. Duh, it's easy, motherfucker. No, it's not. Wake the fuck up. Be a dumb fuck on your time, not on mine. Like, when is it gonna stop? When are you gonna stop playing yourself? I mean, 2 years in and people still aren't scratching higher. You gotta be persistent. You gotta be willing to put in the work. Nothing is gonna land in your lap just because somebody else said it's gonna. There's always a time for speculation, but you can't, again, sit here and pretend that that's the move. You know, the people that recalibrated their T-shares and all that, when they figured out they did it wrong, they figured out they did it wrong because they were too short-term oriented in their staking. I mean, how does that not help you understand what you need to be thinking about?
It's so easy to get caught up in the minutia, and that's exactly why when you're day trading and doing all the speculative shit, you get caught up swimming against the current. And that's exactly how people get wiped out. It's not anything else. It's not because they were riding a trend. It's not because they were making the right trade at the right time. It's always because you're swimming against the current. It's that simple. When you're speculating on a short-term basis, you're either going with the trend or you're going against the trend. And if you're going against the trend, good luck, because that's always short-lived. And people always like to think it'll come back, and guess what? It don't. And you guys know I'm a speculator. So I'm not out here saying don't speculate. What I'm telling you is that you need to learn how to separate A from Z. And notice I used A and Z, not A and B, because they are that fucking different. And it's imperative that you understand that. Because at the end of the day, it's your pocket, not mine. I already understand that. I don't need to learn it. I already taken my licks and I've already lost all the money I can lose to learn those lessons. Crypto is a long term game. You treating it in any other way is your own fault. It's your own problem because that's the proper way to think about it. Why would you be day trading Apple at 80 cents? Why? That's what all of you are doing. I don't give a fuck what your excuse is. You don't have a valid excuse. You don't. And we're going to get into the news. Don't you worry. Because this one is going to be jam packed with goodies. Because it just only highlights my motherfucking argument even better. Because you are playing to lose when you play the short term game. Yeah, of course, nobody's even talking about staking. Good comment, Astrotone. And let me relay it. I didn't hear anyone mention the average years increasing these past couple of months. You noticed. Well, let me tell you why nobody's mentioning it. The reason nobody's mentioning it is because nobody's even talking about staking anymore. I'm probably the only motherfucker talking about that shit. Nobody else is talking about hex or staking or any of the shit we came up talking about. I don't know what people are talking about, but it ain't the shit they're supposed to be talking about. That's why they're out here chasing the next new shiny object. It's real simple. Real simple. Why would you be selling or trading Apple at 80 cents? Why? Why would you be trading Microsoft around at 50 cents? I mean, these are the things you got to be asking yourself because that's what people are doing right now. If you're putting all your money, all of it, into this, then you're not trading money or you're not allocating capital here that you could be putting away for long term investment. And that's what you should be doing. So you're doing the wrong things in the first place. This is set and forget because one day you're going to wake up and that's it. That's the point of this. And the whole thing with Hex is that you have a 15-year way of locking it up so that you really can't fuck it up. That's the whole point of it because that's the superior attribute. That's what allows you to remove the friction between you and your bags when it comes to Hex. Very important, guys. Because friction with respect to economics equals less ROI, not more. Plain and simple. And there's been nothing but studies upon studies upon studies that prove this to be true. This is not an opinion. This is true. This is a fact, not my opinion. So if you're out here flipping fucking coins, thinking you're crushing it, fact remains that you're just playing yourself. At the end of the race, you still just played yourself. Doesn't matter if you come out ahead. Because everybody else that's playing the do nothing game did nothing and still made the same ROI. That's literally how it works. Plain and simple. Look at a compounding chart. Maybe I'll have to do another stream on the difference between simple and compounding interest because that's literally what's happening. You're taking finite instances in time and making returns versus just letting the market do all the work. Simple interest versus compound interest. Have fun, sucker. Because that's literally what's happening. It's true. Look it up. That's exactly why buy and hold is the top institutional strategy. Not fucking day trading. Buy and hold. That's why Hex is superior. That's why I've only talked about Hex. My whole thing has been Hex. I only came out and became public because of Hex. Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, nothing else. Just Hex. As a person in the financial industry, you should understand that there's some type of implication behind that. And as you guys have been paying attention, you probably noticed lately that now the institutions are coming. And where are they coming through? Oh, through Bitcoin. Wow. Who would have guessed that? And then don't worry, I got all the headlines teed up. We're going to go through them too. Because you got to understand, everything is connected. Nothing is separated. People that pretend that money is not political are fools. Of course it's political. Everything revolves around money. Don't be a fucking moron. Everything. Appreciate the super chat, brother. So you got to understand the name of the game and what the purpose of A, B, and C is. We started out with X. Now we have 4, 5, 6 assets we can play with. You need to learn how to play with them accordingly. You need to. It's not an option. That's what the point of it is. You went from one crypto to several crypto. What are you going to do about it? That's what you got to be doing. That's what you got to be thinking about. That's what you have to be working on. What's your plan? What is your plan? Because it can't be to keep working forever. Right? Why wouldn't you want to get your retirement out of the way first so then you can speculate? Why do you think you have to speculate first to set yourself up for retirement? You're thinking backwards. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. I didn't even realize it. I ended up doing it by mistake. But that's the winning strategy. That's why executing investments for the long term is always the winning strategy. And if you are doing cyclical exposure, which is nothing wrong with that, you just better have your thesis and your logic and your factors right. Because if you miss that top or bottom, well, you just fucked yourself out of a ton of money. And there's nothing you can do about it. Period. Right? Because you thought you was doing something and you weren't. And a lot of people do that. They think they're doing something and they're not. Yeah, this is a good comment. And a lot of people just don't, they just don't know how much money is floating around out there. They really don't. And that's the kicker. right? This is why so many people get left behind. This is why I got left behind on the Bitcoin trade and the Ethereum trade because I didn't understand. And people still don't understand, even after all the examples we've had, they still don't understand. So Sandy B's comment goes, was watching Bloomberg TV out of habit yesterday morning, and there's a topic and strategies, but making a comeback. And that's only because yields are fucking high. But what does it mean? Because now they're coming on TV talking about earning yield. Because they really haven't been talking about that like that. Because there hasn't really been any yield. So they really stopped talking about it. Because it was just making the Fed look bad. But now that we're back at 5% plus, and they want to sell people on the narrative that yields are going to continue to go up, what do you think time it is? That's right. Anytime you see an investment strategy get relayed on TVs because the opposite trade is the true trade, not the one being sold on TV. And that's the utility behind watching Bloomberg and CNBC and all these funky channels that are pretending to provide you with valuable information. And they are, but only if you know how to filter it. That's the key. I remember when I first started out, I used to think that they were providing valuable information. Nope, they are not. They are not at all. They're just out there to mislead you, just like regular media. And crypto has its own nexus of that. And they're the ones promoting all the traps in crypto, basically. Because the only thing you should be doing in crypto is buying and holding and forgetting you have it. That's really all you should be doing. Yeah, you can make money doing farming and all that other stuff, but if you don't know what you're doing there, then you should probably chill the fuck out. Right? So you got to understand what your position is, where you're trying to go, so you can get there. I mean, there's really no other way. I don't know why people think they can pretend. Pretending is not a panacea. It's not a solution. It's not doing anything for you. Right now, the market is getting set up for a move that's going to bring in people that you didn't even know had money. Think about that. I mean, how crazy is that? For the last 13, 14 years, a whole industry pretended that this new technology did not exist. And now, nothing else matters. Now, everybody's being made aware of its existence. And now, even yet and still, now the institutions are coming. And even yet and still, you have people promoting speculation. I mean, how dumb are you? Seriously, like how fucking stupid are you? You gotta be pretty dumb to be doing that. I mean, it's a one-way trade. There is no speculating that should be going on at this point in time. Because unless you know some way to print money, you need to be finding ways to print money to bring it into the system. because that money that you're bringing in, that money is buying you X amount of coins each dollar, right? We've talked about this before. That perception of value, right? When that $1 is buying you X amount of coins versus what's buying you in reality, that's that delta that people can't wrap their head around. People can't wrap their head around it. That's why they just resort to being what they are, stupid. They're too busy pretending to know what they can't wrap their head around. And you see it all the time. That's what social media is filled with. A bunch of attention seeking lames providing no value whatsoever. So let's get to the value. But you really need to listen to what was said at the first part of the stream because so many people are just not going to make it. Really, really not. And it's by their own accord, not by anybody else's. So, you really got to wake up and smell the crack at some point. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Let's zoom this in for your viewing pleasure. Cancel that. Am I doing this right? Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to. You know what? Let me see something. Aha, found it. Alrighty. Come on. All right. Boom. Yeah, but it fucked up my location. Damn it. All right. So as you guys know, SEC's been under some serious scrutiny lately because of all the stupidity. And, it's all pretty blah. And what I mean by blah is like it's obvious. You can't sit here and pretend to do the things that they've been doing for however long they've been doing them, which is not protecting investors and whatever have you, and essentially supporting all this criminal activity, which is what all these agencies have been doing. If you've been paying attention, this is not news. This is not nothing new. This is really only new to people that have been paying attention and don't really know how the system works. Um, anyway, the egregiousness has been so bad that now you actually have people in Congress or whatever have you feigning to want to remove the guy and disband the agency that called the SEC, Security and Exchange Commission. How real is that? I don't know. I'm not buying any of it because talk is cheap, basically, and all we're seeing is talk. We have people breaking these sacrosanct laws, right? Like we see it every day, and nobody actually cares. So I'm not sitting here pretending that anybody's actually going to do anything about anything. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter if you're in crypto what happens with the SEC. Doesn't matter. Why should it matter to you? Do you not understand what crypto is? The only people talking about that shit is if it matters to crypto, the people that don't understand what crypto is. I hope you guys realize that. Because that's really what it's about. Ensuring you cannot achieve financial freedom. Ensuring that you can maintain your position as a slave within the system. That's what the goal is. Anything to distract you from making any progress. That's the goal. Right? This is why the information onslaught is primary priority for them. Right? Here we have a point in time when literally the so-called president's son has been brought up on charges, federal level, tax evasion, gun charges, all types of shit. All types of shit that would get anybody else double digit time, football numbers, as I like to call it. And this cat, nothing. They just playing with it. Anybody else would have been in the shoe already. Fuck a regular prison, they would have been in solitary. That's what would have happened to anybody else at this point in time. And people are out here pretending that something else is going on. And they're out here throwing shit at you so you are not looking over there. Like that fake sub situation. That shit fake, people. That shit ain't real. All the levels of stupid involved in that, and you believe that, you dumb. You very dumb. Go learn, go watch a movie so you can understand that that's just not realistic. Since you just too stupid to know anything. Go watch any movie. Literally. Like underwater physics is very simple. If you believe any of that dumb shit, you just stop breathing. I don't even know what else to tell you. You just need to stop breathing. So, yeah, might sound crude, but I don't really know what else to tell you because there's some things that's just basic. And for you to not get that, I mean, how good are you at anything? I don't know. You're not good at anything as far as I can tell. I mean, life is to be lived, right? In the real world, there's no textbook to let you know whether you're right or wrong. You gotta really understand that. There is no textbook for this shit, right? So if there's no textbook for it, how do you know you're doing it right? Right? That's a question I have for people that I would love a reply to if you'd be so kind in the chat. Because a lot of people love to just throw shit at the wall, right? Now, as we go through these headlines, you got to realize What is the utility of these headlines? Right? 90% of the time, they're literally just there to distract you. And if you don't know how to filter the information that's being presented, that's all it's going to do. Just provide a distraction. That's all. Because at the end of the day, if you understand what cryptocurrency is, if you understand the political problems that are currently permeating and where they came from, and all these different facets of life, then you come back full circle to understanding what crypto is. But if you're missing any of those other facets, have it be monetary, trade, economic, and yeah, they're all different, banking, sociological, all these different facets of society that you don't understand. If you don't understand any of them, let alone just one of them, and worse off, none of them, you're gonna miss the biggest trade of all time. I mean, I remember when I thought I was never gonna find an opportunity like this in my lifetime. And this wasn't that long ago. Because I thought Bitcoin and Ethereum were the last hurrah. That's what I thought. I really, really thought that. And we have an opportunity with 6 coins that are tied together. And people don't get it. They don't get it. They don't put in the work. They rather make up excuses and complain and do all this nonsense that I don't even know what to make of it. I can't relate. I can't sympathize. I don't give a fuck to empathize. Put in the work. Nothing is coming to your lap for free. It's just not going to happen. Now let's read through these headlines. Let's see. So you guys see this stuff between China and the Department of Defense. All right. This is pretty important. And it's important because it's literally focused around Taiwan. Right. Um, China is not really caring about anything the current administration has to say about anything. Right. Nothing at all. Um, the only thing the administration cares about is this type of stuff. Vax pushing debate dodger linked to chimeric coronavirus creation in Wuhan. This is the type of stuff they care about promoting. Pushing liars and scammers like this guy in the middle. I don't even know his name, but you guys know who he is if you're on Twitter. This is what they care to promote. These are the misdirections that they put in front of you to get you upset, to get you emotionally invested, to get you off your game, to get you to look left when you should be looking right. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah. Whoever this person that was in charge of this at Disney, they already quit. And this was what, 4 days ago? So Disney Pixar movie with non-binary character and woke theme bombs. Yeah, no shit. Morons. Funny. St. Louis Fed GDP cast now negative. Now look, this stuff is all fine and well, but if you look at how it actually tracks, I mean, these are forecasting models, right? So they're essentially useless because we've been seeing negative GDP, I don't know what, the past 2 years. You're not seeing that shit there. So, whatever. Come on. So it's just about understanding the utility of the data, right? Because that's key. Because what's the point of looking at a data point if you don't understand what the data point is telling you? Alright. So this is a chart of the Nasdaq, and This is going back to 1994, and then you're getting an average in this color here from 94 to now. And from 94 to now, the NASDAQ is off to its best start ever. Now, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to me. This is 1999, the highest one ever, the highest ROI year ever from that period to now, over here in blue. 1998, second highest over here in gold. Let's see, it was green. Is that 2000 really? Is it really that easy? 2000, and I guess, damn, I can't, I think that's 2007. No, no, no. We're 2020. Yep. Um, 2009 and 2020. All right, so you got 1999, number one for the NASDAQ. 1998, number two. 2020, number three. And 45, where are you? 2000, oh, shit, did I get that wrong? Ah, yes. So let me start over. Number one, 2000, 1999. 1999 is number one, 1998 is number two, 2009 is number three, and 2020 is number four. So the NASDAQ has outperformed 99, 98, the worst year ever, 2009, and the second worst year ever, 2020. So why am I highlighting that? Why does that matter? Well, it matters for the following reasons. 2009 was essentially the end of whatever you thought America was, like official end of it. 2008, 2000, right when all that shit happened, that was the end of it. America's never been the same since. Economically, whatever you want to call it, it just has not been the same. Um, However, if you bought stocks that year, you crushed it. Specifically, if you ignored the economic reality and thought forward, you made a fucking 45%, 47% return that year. Just buying the NASDAQ. And that's buying it from January 1st, right? And the bottom didn't happen until March. So you had the first 2 months of straight down in 2009, and you still saw a 47% return. Worst year in economic history of the US. One of the most economically destructive years I've ever seen in my life. And I wasn't even here. I was overseas. Like, that's how bad it was. So these are the things you have to understand. You really got to have a good grasp on your economic history. Now, here we have a 45% year, right? And that happened when? In 2020. But what happened in 2019? We had a 37% year. I mean, are we getting it? The over financialization of the economy does not help you at all. All it does is screw you, the regular person, over. The proof is in the data. So far this year, the NASDAQ is up 38%. June, 38%. Where do you think it's going to end up this year? I say we surpass 1999 this year. That's what I say. And this is assuming we don't go full Venezuela, or we do go full Venezuela. And I suspect we will. Because if you look at the financial landscape. People are running from the dollar, right? Now we'll get to that. Let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. But we're at an interesting point in time for sure, because things are only going to get more interesting. Speak of the devil. In another potential blow to the dollar dominance, Kenyan president urges shift away from greenback and African trade. So that's just going to continue to happen. That's not going to stop. Yeah, and finally, this is coming out. Rand Paul. I mean, coming out in the sense that people can't pretend it's not a thing. People will continue to pretend, but whatever. Let's see. Mm, 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 mm. Let's see. This is a guy's name from earlier. This is a guy that the media promotes as being a champion when he's just a lying scumbag. It's funny how that works. Oh, this was funny. School principal quits to homeschool her 3 kids on a 10-acre homestead. I wanted to raise thinkers. A principal. A principal, folks. Something for you to think about. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, so check this out, guys. Now, I'm not a political advocate for anything, right? I don't give a fuck about politics from that perspective. It's a joke. It's just there to control the masses. So I don't support Trump. I don't support anybody. Fuck all these clowns. At the end of the day, none of them follow letter of the law. They don't. So they can all kiss my ass. Now, what we need to understand is how this rhetoric is used against us as a society, right? This is the point of this. How can somebody just sit here and say Trump needs to be shot? And it's a Democratic lawmaker, right? And then, of course, they come out backpedaling because you're looking like a fool, right? But just the fact that these people are allowed to say those things out loud and not suffer any consequences and repercussions is exactly the problem, because it gives people, and by people I mean general public, the idea that being violent, divisive like that is the move. That is the point. Now check this out. This was January 19th. I think that was a Thursday. Let me double check. No, that was Monday. Now, if you're not in tune with how the system works, what's been happening since last week? President's homeboy getting roasted by the feds publicly, and it's out there. So what does that mean? They got to find a way to divert people's attention away from what's really going on. And so many people fell for it. Never ends. Because that sub crap was just that. Period. Let's see. Solar panels going broke. Coal subsidies jeopardize EU power market reform. So, give me a second, guys. Sorry about that, folks. Goddamn ambulance took forever to ride through. So what was I saying? Yes. So here's the funny thing. Everything that they're backing is literally collapsing. Green New Deal, Rona, climate change, you name it, whatever have you. They literally have to go kamikaze on every front right now. And this is what I was talking about a long time ago when I was trying to tell people that they have their backs against the wall. Imagine thinking you have control when you don't really have control, because markets still are markets. They never shut down free markets, right? And then that was the biggest error that the commies made. This is why no matter what they do, they're going to lose. The cost of living in Europe is so high that people don't give a flying fuck about being green. They can't afford to be green. Moving on. This is what their sole focus is right now, because they understand that they're at the end of the road. If they can't find a way to defeat crypto, which they can't, this is their last salvo. But they don't understand what they're doing. So it's just fun to watch them crash into a wall. Basically, is where we're at this point. There is this. Let me see if I can find it. There's this Twitter handle that I follow. It's all about biometrics. Literally, it's all it talks about. Um, Biometric update is literally the handle. I'm gonna put it in the chat because I think everybody should be seeing what these losers are doing behind your backs. Because they're not doing it in your face, because you would never agree to it. Only a moron would agree to something like this. Anyways, you can see all the criminal activity that's presently ongoing, right? Because nobody's consenting to being exposed. This is like being fully doxxed in your crypto wallet. Don't think so. Nobody's looking for that. Nobody's looking to be doxxed, and this is what they're intending to do. And this is important for everybody to be aware of, because they couldn't pull it off with their Rona. That's what Rona was about. And they couldn't do it. So they have to find a way to do it some way, somehow. And that's all this is about. It's not about anything else. It's about exposing your activity, ensuring that they can control everything that you do. Nothing else. And it's important, imperative, in fact, that you understand that, because your future, your kids' future, your grandkids' future, everybody's future is dependent on that. How else do you think we're going to move forward from here? They had no intention of stopping. I mean, they already relinquished the Rona narrative, even though people pretend that it's still a thing. I mean, they had to literally let it go. So much so that now the focus is solely on climate, or whatever nonsense they could throw at you that'll get your attention, which is what that sub was for. I mean, look at this here. This just in, literally 2 hours ago. IMF says countries banning crypto may not be effective in the long run. The IMF, people. Do you not understand what defeat looks like? I mean, this is literally defeat. And people are out here playing games when the game hasn't even begun. I mean, respect yourself a little. And what's the following headline? Oh, German software giant SAP is testing cross border payments using Circle. Oh, how about that? That sounds familiar. Done told you on that one too. So we've talked about a lot of these things, time and time again. This is why I don't like, you can't be in a rush. I mean, you're in at the ground floor. All that has to happen is somebody else wakes up and they're coming. These two tweets are proof positive. I'm not sure what else people need. I mean, I don't know if you guys pay attention when you go food shopping or whatever, but people are pinching out there. They're struggling. And I'm talking about people that you wouldn't think are. So the people that don't have it, they're already out here robbing and stealing. So meanwhile, KKR agrees to buy up 40 billion euros of PayPal's pay later loans. Too funny. Now, this is the difference between the US and the Euro, EU. In the US, we have a centralized market where entities can come give money, right? In the EU, they got to do stuff like this. Pretty simple. That's how that's going down. And that's it. I mean, this is why the EU's staying power is literally mental. If people understand what's going on, it ends instantly because they can no longer extort. This is extortion. The European Commission will they ask EU member countries to contribute tens of billions of euros more to top up the union's budget for the next 3 coming years. I mean, these countries are broke, but good luck with that. Like whatever. It's just comical. It really is comical. It's comical because this is all happening every day. I mean, look at it. They trying to charge this Trump guy again. I don't know how many times they try to take this guy to court for no reason. It's always for no reason. Just to grab headlines and again, divert attention away from where you should be focusing your attention. Things that are important to grasp. What is this? Oh man. So yeah, if you got a kid in school, you should know that this is happening. The Midwest and Plains Equity Assistance Center, which is funded by the Department of Education, a federal funding. That's what this is. was caught on a Zoom meeting talking about ways to help children transition and keep it from their parents. Yeah, real life. I mean, they're out here passing laws saying you can't medically harm children. I mean, the fact that we're even thinking that's something to do is crazy. Like, these people should literally be getting lined up and shot for just suggesting it. It should not be tolerated. It literally should not be tolerated. And this is the problem that actually exists in America. People tolerate the fucking craziest shit. Like, I don't know if I could ever leave the hood. I don't think I could live in this world outside of here. Like, there's no normalcy out there. This was on Tuesday, and this is why the sub story was dropped Monday. Tuesday morning, federal gun taxes charges filed against Hunter Biden, the so-called son's president. Imagine that. And the motherfucker literally pled not guilty, even though everybody knows it's true. I mean, yo, this is real life. This is real life. And people know he's going to walk. Unless he already walked and I just don't know because I'm not paying attention. I know it's pointless. Who cares? It's just such a joke. It's such a joke. Oh, man. Yeah. Something that you might want to pay attention to if you don't. Short-term cash problem that the U.S. government presently has. Oops, and I have a short-term fire problem. So week over week, governments all over the world issue, you know, debt securities to the public to raise capital. This is how they fund themselves every week because they don't have money. They can only steal but so much from us. And what's happening right now in the U.S. is that the quantity of the sales are increasing, meaning they know they're broke and are trying to get ahead of it. And just so you know, in case you don't, lying on a federal firearm background check, and I'm really not any type of firearm, not just firearm, but any background check, any serious federal level background check that you lie on is going to come with jail time. Period. But of course, not for the homies. See, I think Kodak Black did time for that shit. Pretty sure he did. A lot of cats do time for doing dumb shit like that. I mean, for you to be a famous person and lie, you just dumb. Like, yo, everybody got you on tape, bro. It's 2021. Like, where the fuck you been? You on tape if you're famous. This is funny. I didn't see this. Can artificial intelligence solve the socialist calculation problem? No, because they're the ones building it. So there's an answer to that question. Next. Nope. Next. Let's see here. I mean, all right, let's just talk about this one time. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Fuck. Oh, thank God. All right. So the Wall Street Journal has confirmed our reporting from 3 years ago that the Wuhan Institute of Virology scientists who were sickened in November 2019 were working with whatever, being funded by the U.S. Now, I hope people are clear on the fact that the jig is up on all this shit. Right? Like, there is no such thing as Rona and all that was fake and it was just a bioweapon that was released and some people were affected a certain way, others weren't. Like, you either got sick or you don't. Like, there's no Rona. People are still out here talking about they got the Rona. Like, wake up, man. Ain't no fucking Rona. Let's see here. Yes, this is a good comment. Remember, folks, you, a law abiding citizen owning a gun, are a danger to the Republic. Hunter Biden, a crack addict who lied on gun forms and whose then girlfriend threw his gun in a dumpster across from a high school, barely did anything wrong. All good. All good. Yeah. In case you forgot, never forget that that senior U.S. government scientist ran a disinformation and censorship campaign to prevent a proper investigation into the lab leak. The people who ran this campaign have not yet been held to account. I mean, nobody has. So let's not forget that. And there's many more things that have been done that people haven't been held to account for and probably never will be. Because society really doesn't seem to care. At this point, I don't know what it's going to take to get people to act. I mean, the fact that they've come this hard at kids and people are still kind of waiting and seeing is kind of crazy to me. Because they're coming at kids. They don't care anymore. They're out here. They don't give a shit. Now, this was probably the most interesting headline out of the set of all headlines that we've had so far. Retired NYPD sergeant, two others convicted as agents of China. Now, it's 2023, folks. When I was 10, I knew China was a problem. We'll keep it moving. Now, this meme is literally photoshopped only here. The rest is wide open out there in public. Wide open. And that's the clean pick. There's better ones out there. And as we all know, the government is violating everything, whatever. Two-tier justice system and whatnot. Don't really want to get into that. In case you missed it, cryptocurrency exchange backed by Citadel, Fidelity, and Schwab starts operations. The institutions are coming. So you go ahead and fuck around with your perfect bag if you want. We'll just be laughing over here on the side at you. Because you funny. Funny style, that is. What? I didn't get that. Whatever. Oh, yeah. In case you guys didn't know, this is the type of power the IRS is seeking. I can go into anyone's house at any time. The IRS, folks. The IRS is not anything. They're nobody. In case you don't know. Judiciary Committee investigates IRS agent threatening taxpayer. But you got to understand, this is the frame of thought at these institutions. These criminal syndicate entities do not give a fuck about you. So your lack of self-respect is their gain of power over you. You need to wrap your head around that, because that's just what's true. It really, really is. You don't gotta like it, but you sure as hell gotta deal with it. Yeah, this guy's a schmuck, man. I gotta be 100 with y'all, and I talk about this shit all the time. The pandemic was a literal IQ test, and anybody that failed it from start to finish ain't in my camp. And this guy was one of these people that I thought was smart. And yeah, didn't take long for that to end. And there's a lot of people that were out there that you thought was smart. They just weren't. They're just not. They're not. Do not be fooled by the fact that they went off the cliff and then came back. Just because they came back don't mean nothing. They actually died. Once you go off a cliff, you don't live. And that's something that people out here on social media just fail to respect. You give a fuck about no Jordan B. Peterson, yo. That motherfucker got jabbed 2 times. Respect yourself if you got no jabs. Don't respect people with jabs. People with jabs aren't alive. They're basically dead. Like, have some self-respect. Fucking clowns. And for those of you still buying the climate change narrative, this was in 2018. Literally. A top climate scientist is warning that climate change will wipe out all of humanity unless we stop using fossil fuels over the next 5 years. This was in 2018. When I was having a conversation with somebody at work about this dumb shit, it must have been 2016. Like, it's never ending. Who gives a fuck? Like, grow up, people. It's never gonna end. Now check this shit out. Pentagon accounting error provides an extra $6.2 billion for Ukraine. Precisely, no comment. Yep. Yep. This is perfect. Actually. Yeah. Because that's exactly how people reacted. It's like, oh, okay, cool, man. No biggie. We don't care. We're rich. But not really. Negative equity. More consumers find themselves in underwater auto loans, not even assets. You can't sell a car for more money than you pay for it, fool. You fucked. So many people are about to be so fucked because they don't want to learn. A lot of people just don't know. And in this instance, it's probably a bunch of young people in their early 20s that don't know anything financial. Like, they're just not financially astute at all. That's the common fabric of people that end up in these types of situations. Underwater auto loans, like, it's just insane to even put those words together. Fuck. Crazy, man. In 2023 or 2022, business logistics costs soared 20% to 2.3 trillion. Now, when you hear things like that, and then you hear things like, oh, GDP increased to a record, blah, blah, blah. Same thing. Same thing, folks. Same thing. All right. Now, this is interesting. I hope everybody saw this. BlackRock recruiter who decides people's fate, quote unquote, spills info on companies' world impact. Quote, it's not who the president is, it's who's controlling the wallet of the president. End quote. Another quote, you got 10K, you can buy a senator. That's true. Very cheap they are. Last quote, war is real fucking good for business. End quote. Yep, very good. We've talked about this before. This is why throughout history, what you see is a bunch of activities, financial or otherwise, circulating, surrounding, the occurrences of war. It's not by mistake. It's by design. So check this out. Qatar to ink new 27-year gas deal with China. What do you think they're gonna pay with? Not dollars. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Yeah. This was funny. So BMI is racist, says the very same American Medical Association. For anybody that's still using them as some type of, I don't know, measuring stick. You people are just jokes. You know, it's funny. The other day, somebody said to me, "Man, you just don't like science, huh?" And I just laughed, like, you're just a fucking moron that doesn't know any better. New Hampshire Democratic Party freaks out as RFK Jr. to speak at Libertarian Festival. Yeah, everybody's losing their shit nowadays. Here we go. Kodak Black's lawyer reacts to the Hunter Biden news. Says Kodak was charged for the same crime and had to serve trip digits 3 years in jail for it. How about that? What does the lawyer state? The lawyer states 2 tiers of justice, question mark. Kodak was charged for the same crime, got over 3 years. Mr. Biden will not serve a day. Feels right? Question mark. Do FBI agents and federal authorities take cases personally? I'm going to discuss this on my subscriber page. Oh, the world is a joke, man. It's a joke. And, the more NPCs we have, the more of a joke it becomes. So, if you want the world to not be a joke, wake the NPCs up. Good luck with that. It's like a mission that is ever failing, never going to happen. Apparently, Biden called China's Z a dictator. I don't know. Whatever. We still got a few days to go because we're only on the 20th. We're not going to really touch these. But these are important to go through because they really cover the broad perspective of what's actually going on in the world and the market. Disney Chief Diversity Officer Latondra Newton has stepped down after 6 years. How about that? Maybe your kids will get Disney back. I don't know. We'll see. Good luck. I don't think they ever really had it. I was never really a Disney fan, so I don't know. I don't really fuck with that. Let's see. Oh, yes, of course. Florida affordability drops after flood of transplants. High interest rates. Well, yeah, that's kind of how math works. Oh, you don't say. Good luck with that, Ukraine. Assuming even that's true. Yuan weekends is 7.2 per dollar, first time ever. Interesting. We'll get into that at some point in the future, maybe. Some specific macro talk and the importance of the U.S. yuan rates and levels and what they mean and whatnot. What we got going on? Oh, that's too small to care. Moving on. Funny. Let's see. I mean, there's just so much crazy stuff going on. It's almost impossible. Like, we could literally stream all day as the tweets come out and just have a real conversation about it and then just talk about the next tweet. That's how much crap is going on. I mean, it's real. It's real out here. And here's another one. Restaurants face unappetizing slowdown as consumers buckle amid 2-year inflation storm. Now, I don't know if you guys have the income, the ability, the disposable income to be able to go out and eat out. But you see it when you go out and you eat out. There's just not a lot of people. One day I went out recently and I mean, it was empty. Yeah, it was the middle of the day during the week, but I mean, empty? People don't work out here. Like, I mean, it was empty. So, yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. Why is macro broken? Interesting question. Very simply put, the monetary aspect of the angle that used to be understood is no longer understandable. So the people that think macro is broken don't understand that they just lost track of the trade. And this is why I don't bother following other persons on Wall Street. For what? I am the person on Wall Street. And I'm not known. I don't care to be. But just because somebody isn't quote unquote famous doesn't mean that they're not that guy. Pro tip. Because while everybody's saying this, I've already been over here enjoying myself for the past 3, 4, 5 years. And it's really only when I fully understood that this was the next macro trade is that I realized that macro isn't broken. Because this is an old narrative, in fact. Because when rates were zero for a decade, this was the narrative as well. Something like that. Maybe not specifically why macro is broken, but something to that effect. Because you see, a lot of players have left the market because they couldn't play the way they were playing before. And that's simply because they didn't realize the trade was Bitcoin at the time or Ethereum, right? That's the facts. And now you got Hex, you got Pulse Chain, you got PulseX, you got Hedron, you got Maxi, you got Icosa, you got Ink. You name it, we got it. I don't know why people pretend they need to go elsewhere, but good luck with that, because you're gonna need it. Let's keep scrolling through these fun headlines. Oh man, funny stuff. All right, so Fed Powell spoke. Let's talk about this word cloud. So the bigger the word, the more it's spoken about. Inflation, policy, percent, federal, monetary. Those are the biggest words on here. Maybe economic. Now, do those words really paint a picture for you? I mean, you have commercial real estate on its last legs. I mean, that entire sector is going to crash just because of the office nexus. It has to. There's no doubt about it. There's no question to be had. And do you think real estate is anywhere in this word cloud? You look for that word. Tell me where you see it. Property, home prices, whatever. You're just not going to see it here. They're not going to talk about anything you need to freaking know. Never. And this is why you don't listen to these people. You just use them as information points because that's all they are. Stop playing yourself. There's nothing to learn. Like, as far as legacy goes, there's really nothing to learn. You need to understand market psychology and stuff like that. That's all. And this is what you have to wrap your head around. How else do you understand the bigger picture? How else? Think about it. How do you know you're making the right decision in real time? I mean, I talked about that all last stream. You don't. You have to just be confident that what you're doing makes sense. A lot of people like to pretend that they are, but they don't. And time proves that. And people that don't understand T-shares are the only people talking shit about Hex. Facts. So be mindful of those out there talking shit that pretend to know. Think about that. When you got T-shares, you're buying a dip every damn day. What are you mad about? The whole point of playing this game is so that you accumulate enough so that when the prices finally do go up, salute. Holla at you. Nothing to talk about. But people do not get it. They think that it's supposed to happen on the drop of a dime. They don't understand that it requires energy, work. What's the point of money? You got to understand what the point of money is in the first place. Oh, DA Alvin Bragg sued after refusing to release Trump case records. Good luck, fat boy. You got to know what you're doing when you're playing the game, folks. It's out here to be played, but if you don't know how to play it, you're going to suffer the consequences. Do not get lost in the sauce pretending to think you have a clue when you don't. For a long time, I didn't understand that I just had to take care of myself. To hell with the rest. Until I decided to do that. That's what I decided to do with Pulse Chain. That's why I don't even talk about it. Oh, you didn't listen for the past 2 years? Good luck. And there's a lot of people out here that just clearly did not. They didn't listen to me explain how markets work. They didn't listen to me explain the monetary phenomenon that's currently occurring. They didn't listen to me explain what Hart's Law is before it was even Hart's Law. They didn't listen to anything. So, guess what? They're just sitting there with their puny little bags, nothing to show for their efforts, crying and complaining about how price hasn't 100x yet. That's what the fuck they're doing. And guess what? I'm just laughing. Because a pleb is always going to be a pleb. A pleb graduates to a noob. And then from a noob, you slowly progress your way up to becoming an expert over time. Because even if you are an expert, you don't know everything. You cannot know everything about a subject. You got to just wrap your head around that. Even Richard doesn't know everything about crypto. I mean, he tells you that. I mean, do you people not listen? He says that verbatim. So wake up, learn the basics, make sure you get them right. Now, I don't know if you guys know about this John Durham character, but he was basically a special counsel that was appointed by Trump, probably 2016, 2017, I can't remember, to look into the whole Russia, and all this other stuff. Long story short, he exposed everything, everyone, yada, yada. And that was his job. He did his job. Question is, what is everybody else going to do with that information? And we already know the answer to that because we are seeing it. That's nothing. Pretty simple. Powell, any U.S. CBDC should be intermediated through the banks. So no CBDC. Yeah, pretty much what it sounds like. But you got to presume that the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to guess that he does. So let's see here. Yeah, actually, if you don't know, you should probably read this out of all that. Probably read that, yeah. If you don't know about what exactly is going on with that case, what Durham purpose is, his purpose is basically to expose everything on paper. This is why everything that he's done, it seemed like it was pointless, but it was just to get to the next goal line. You know, it's just all legal stuff. If you don't know how the system works, it's not going to make sense to you. It's going to look all pointless. Yeah, DOJ violating its own internal policies with Hunter Biden wrist slap, yada yada. We already knew that was coming. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing that's something related to SoftBank. Oh, so Biden, yeah. So these people are talking nuclear threat, or nuclear war or whatever. Personally, I just think it's to scare people because why would you threaten to blow yourself up and everything else? I don't know. It's just dumb. Assuming, whatever. It's just dumb. My point is just stop believing everything you read or everything that's reported, right? Because it's being reported for a reason. That's what people need to realize. Whatever is reported for a reason. It's not for no reason. Your objective is to learn what that reason is. Look at this fucking fat fuck. So this guy was a governor in New Jersey, one of the worst people I've ever heard of. He says transgender procedures on minors should be allowed if parents consent. Complete shitbag. Another guy that should be fucking shot. This guy has done a lot of fucking dirty shit over here. A lot of dirty shit. All these fucking politicians should be shot, period. Anybody trying to get on the politics should be shot. Like, you just have something wrong with you. And you innately have something wrong with you if you want to be a politician. You do. It's just a fact of the matter. Prove me wrong. I'll wait. And you're not going to be able to. That's the whole point. But I'll wait anyway. Good luck with that. Wake up call. Anheuser-Busch exec says lesson learned. Predicts comeback. Good luck. When you see beer on sale, something's wrong. I've never seen that before, so I don't see how you're making a comeback, but good luck. Yeah, this is how stupid the commies are. How long are you planning to publicly cry about the fact that someone invited you onto their podcast for a debate? Yeah, that's what's really going on in the real world. Somehow. I don't know how. But it's going on. Something to think about. Because what are you going to do with that? It's really on you at the end of the day. And this was the shot heard across the world. Federal Reserve Chairman says crypto appears to have staying power as an asset class. Sure. Took you 13, 14 years to figure it out. Right. You know, what's really going on there is that they're now ready to allow their homies to play ball. Don't believe for 1 second the notion of regulatory clarity was ever a reason. Everything happens in a concert fashion. Right? These people do not operate alone. I've already exposed how that happens time and time again. And this is why now you have this plethora of ETFs being released onto the market, or ETF requests being released to the SEC. And guess what? They're going to approve them. No questions asked. People out here wondering. There's nothing to wonder. What the fuck is wrong with you? They're going to approve them. It's what they do. It's how the system works. Oh, the Fed said it's okay? Yeah, approve that shit, man. Simple. Directions come from the top, not from you. And that's simply because you don't care how the system works. So you're not the top. You can't be if you don't care how the system works. So good luck with that. I mean, look, this is the kind of shit that I laugh at, and this is why I hold myself to a higher regard than others. Will be ironic if FCC finally does approve the Bitcoin ETF. Of course they're going to approve it. Of course. What are you questioning? Where have you been for the past 20 years that you think they're not going to approve that shit? Wake up. Like, it's not even worth trying to play devil's advocate. Like, just shut up and just say they're going to approve it because you know they're going to. Not you like who can realistically say that they're not going to approve BlackRock's ETF? BlackRock. Man, shut the fuck up. The Fed is BlackRock. Dumbasses. Oh man. All right, what am I reading here? U.S. federal court schedules initial appearance in unabiding case for the 26th of July. We'll see how true that is. That would be next Monday. Today's Friday, right? Yeah, next Monday. Supreme Court considering if American with Disabilities Act covers gender dysphoria. Sure you are. Sure. Is this the tweet? Yeah, no, this is the tweet. All right, let's talk about this tweet for a little bit, guys. This is a very important tweet. This is why, you got to be able to make your own decisions. Two separate banks, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, both saying two different things. Hedge funds have net sold U.S. stocks in 9 of the past 10 trading sessions. Now, have they made money overall? Probably not. Let me take a look. 89. They're probably hitting break even this week, if not already, because the market ripped. Right, it did that move. It ripped from the 15th through the 23rd. It ripped. So if you were short in that, right, and you were short below that, that means your average sale is higher. So maybe you're in profit now. Hedge funds led the buying with the third largest inflows by hedge funds since '08. Now, this is Bank of America. Now, how do you make sense of this? Same week, same day, two conflicting data points. Make your own decisions, people. Stop following. Make your own decisions. It would be terrible if, in response to Biden's dictator comment, Beijing leaked some of its notes, in quotes, on Hunter Biden's deal with China's CEFC. And yeah, this is all public information. This isn't even anything to spend any time on. So, yeah. That's why you could just pull it up real quick. And if you don't know, the U.S. military is slowly building. Well, so let me explain something. When I joined the service in 2001, you know, I met a certain class of people. I thought that's how the service was going to be, that caliber of people and whatnot. And to a certain extent, sure, it was. But to another extent, it wasn't. And all it was that over time, they were slowly degrading the caliber of the people. So that ultimately, this is what you ended up with. Pentagon paying the price for going woke. And it's been happening since I joined the military, if not before. And that was over 20 years ago. So nothing new there. Wow. LG, LGBT school books for kindergarten and elementary students as center of parents lawsuit. And this is what's happening out there, folks. If you're not involved and you don't know, then you don't want to know. And the House finally voted to censure this piece of crap. Now, if you don't know, you even see these little ads on Twitter now. That's how bad it is. And here we go again. The diversity officer, Latondra Newton, quits after pair of box office bombs. Hope you get a fucking real life, bitch. Useless fuck. First ever U.S. bill to counter Beijing force organ harvesting, signed into law in Texas. How about that? uh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that. Non-negotiable. So check this out. Apparently, a non-negotiable was any female on the UPenn team speaking out against that dude that swam with them last summer or whatever. That's how it's going down over there, people. And parents probably don't even know. This is happening in America today to the youth. They're being oppressed in real time. What are we going to do about it? That's the question. Yeah, I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. I'll drink socially. Life is better without it. If you don't know what drinking is, it's really poison. And I'm not taking the uh what do you call it? I'm not taking the Great Depression era route either. I'm of the mind nowadays that I'm pretty sure that's a psyop. Because why else would they glorify it so much? Moonshine running, supposedly NASCAR was birthed from that and all that shit. Sure, all right, bro. Okay. Yes, let's glorify drinking in every respect that we can. Yes, while people are out here poisoning themselves, dying left and right in all manner of ways from consuming this poison. Because that's really what it is. And I used to be a hard drinker. I had a period in my day, in my life, where I would get home from work and drink because I had to. So I know what the fuck drinking is. I used to drink a bottle of Hennessy with my boy every day for lunch. I used to be a drinker. So I know what the fuck I'm saying. This shit is fucking poison. You ain't doing shit drinking. And that's all I got to say about that. Pro COVID mandate scientists use the expert fallacy to avoid fair debate. But why is this news now? They've been doing this since 2020. Should not even be shocking. Don't understand what the hype's all about. They've been doing it for years, folks. For years. White House advisor Jared Bernstein says that he expects U.S. relations with China will improve. The dictator whisperer. That's a good one. All right. This crap here is another thing to get you to look left when you should be looking right. Ignore it at all costs. Nobody cares about Zuckerberg and Elon fighting. Wake the fuck up. Fucking joke. Nothing has changed in almost 100 years and nothing's been truer. Plan of action for the U.S. Spend, spend, spend. Under the guise of recovery, bust the government, blame the capitalists for the failure, junk the Constitution, and declare dictatorship. Doesn't that seem familiar? We already been doing this one, spend, 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 since 2020. Government has already been busted. And of course, you see them trying to blame businesses all the time. And that's what we call gaslighting. And at every turn, you see them trying to push unconstitutional legislation. So it's not like this is even not true by any means. It's entirely true. Health officials put Americans on notice over West Nile virus. Oh my God, are you in the West Nile? If you're in the West Nile, you better run. Fucking schmucks. Huh. Federal judge strikes down Arkansas law barring child gender transitions. How about that? Imagine. What a joke. Innovate, don't litigate to solve the climate crisis. I'm still waiting to find out what this crisis is, where it's coming from, where is it going, yada yada. Yeah, this is what everybody's trying to figure out, right? When will the globalists attempt to introduce a digital currency system? Well, in case you don't know, they're slowly doing it. You don't have to wait. They're gonna just do it, and one day it's just gonna be there, and then you're gonna be like, "Fuck, I missed it," because you were waiting for an announcement. Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. They just do it. You don't have to know they're doing it. Europe does an about face on transgender therapy for children. Imagine that. IMF managing director says, "We are working hard on the global CBDC." Isn't it funny how they couldn't get SDRs to work? Because technically they already have that. In fact, before we all realized CBDCs were going to be a thing, we all presumed SDRs were that thing. SDRs are the original CBDCs, so much so that I've even done a stream on that topic alone. So, yeah. West Bank sellers, rampage, and yeah, it's not even going to talk about that. My phone charge. Oof. They raised rates yesterday, 50 bips. And this is what happens. 100 pip moves. I mean, that wipes out, people all the time. People that are trading. Jeffrey Epstein offered to introduce Jess Staley to senior UK ministers, JP Morgan. Now, if you guys don't know, JP Morgan and this guy's lawyer are going back and forth throwing tit for tats over Jeffrey Epstein and who knew who when and all that nonsense. So we're at the stage where they're pointing fingers. So just enjoy the show, guys. Enjoy the show. because it's really, really crazy out there right now. And we're only going to see crazier things happen. And this is what you have to realize. I mean, we've come to the point where two fucking supposed tech geniuses, quote unquote, are talking about fighting online. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Grow up. Give a fuck about some nerds fighting. The fuck out of here. I gotta worry about when I go outside that I make sure I come back fucking home. Don't give a fuck about no nerds fighting. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking kind of clown ass shit is that? Only people that got nothing to fucking do give a fuck about shit like that. Clowns. Yeah, and in case you don't know, this is Turkey's currency versus the dollar. Now, what you don't know, and this is just over the last 3 months. Now, what you don't know is that this is the same thing that's happening to your currency in your pocket right now. Every time the government does something, period. Every time they do something, that's what's happening. You cannot fight that. And that's why crypto. Simply put. See how it all kind of always comes back to crypto, doesn't it? Funny, right? The U.S. leading economic indicators tumble for 14 straight months, signals weaker activity ahead. You think anybody's going to figure it out? I wonder. I don't know. We'll see. Biden dispatches Sullivan Newland to convince war skeptics from BRICS to turn against Russia. Imagine that. Imagine that. Them trying to stop other countries that are going to form a currency from becoming powerful. Imagine that. Oh, yeah, in case you missed this, JP Morgan mistakenly, quote unquote, deleted 47 million records, SEC alleges. And yes, allegedly is right. With the big eye. This is like the best meme ever. That chick is going to live forever just because of that meme, because it's so apt. Let's see. Let's keep it moving. Part of the cover up. Yeah, probably. Who cares? Part of the cover up. Gates rips Durham for failing to investigate core Russiagate. You know, at the end of the day, are any of these guys doing anything about anything? No. They're just talking. Whatever. Hope you are ready. I know a lot of people that have been in crypto for the past 2 years aren't ready. 3 years. Not ready. So for those of you that don't understand, AI is just literally a hyper Google search at this point. It's not really doing more than that. If it talks back, then yeah, it's another level. But until then, not really doing much. And then even then, all it's doing is talking back text. So it's still not doing anything. Somebody has to upload the information and all that stuff. So Juneteenth has been a thing within our community for, ever. But only recently has it become a federal holiday, right? And all it's done is allow people to make stupid, inflammatory comments like this. UCLA diversity official. White people should work for free on Juneteenth. It's a federal holiday, first of all. Second of all, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Yellen tries to walk back Biden's dictator remark, says critical to work with China. Oh, I'm sure it is, bitch. Sure it is. I'm sure it is. Fucking clowns. Oh, yeah. So on September 4th, 2020, DOJ, the Department of Justice, released a or ordered a cease and desist on any overt investigation of Hunter Biden or Biden family influence peddling, according to IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley. So this is why nothing happens. They're directed to not do anything. Important to note. Mhm. Oh man. So yeah, this is going to be pretty important to watch over time because the IRS, they looked at a certain way in the eyes of the public, even though we might look at them a certain way. In the public, they're viewed a certain way too. So whatever this guy keeps dropping as far as bombs go, it's going to be kind of hard to ignore. So keep an eye out. This is funny. Argentina seeks Biden support in debt talks with inflexible IMF. I mean, Argentina is owned by the IMF, so good luck to them there. It's just funny. It's really, really funny. Nearly 100 people injured by golf ball sized hail at Louis Tomlinson concert. I don't know where that was, but be careful out there, people. Things are changing and fast. I mean, speaking of, it's literally June in New York City. And I'm part of the last generation that grew up outside. Let me tell you guys something. It's supposed to be dog fucking hot right now. And it feels like fall in New York City right now. The fall. You can literally wear whatever you want. If you wear shorts and shit like that, you might be a little chilly, but you can get away with it. Assuming you're not like hefty. Otherwise, you're going to feel the wind. Ooh. 18 hours ago, newly released transcripts show the IRS wanted felony charges against Hunter Biden, but their recommendations went to the Justice Department and came out as two misdemeanors. Woof! Swing and a miss. That's major. For anybody that's been involved at the federal level to any degree to see some shit like that, major. Major. This is why this guy writes, this is mind-blowing testimony. Biden was making appearances at CEFC meetings and his son had arranged, while the witness says Biden wasn't officially part of the deal. That was the eventual goal because the VP was never going to run. This occurred while he was in office. That's right, for those that don't know. I don't know what that's about. Whatever. See what else we got here. Yeah, so this is a good point. Right, you got the Biden family being attacked on multiple fronts, really, because you got these federal charges being dropped, and now you got this IRS whistleblower releasing all this, dark shit that they don't want out there at all. They don't want people knowing this stuff whatsoever, because it's going to give people a certain perspective about what they thought was one thing and then it's really something else. EU readies 50 billion euro package and Pentagon wraps up shell production even as Ukraine offensive falters. Something to think about. Let's see. I'm tired of talking about Julian Assange and journalism. There's no such thing as journalism. If you don't get that by now, it's no helping you. Cost of food is just going to keep being an issue. Cost of living is going to continue to be an issue. And we're going to continue to see crime increase in accordance with that, unfortunately. That's just how it works. It's just not people. Illinois suffered the nation's third worst loss of businesses. I mean, and that's just going to keep happening to, blue states. There's nothing to think about there. So, fucking retards. People are going to learn the hard way that they're just going to lose that battle. That's crazy. Wawa is like a gas station that sells food. Is a pretty huge deal out there. Um, and for them to be shuttering locations in Philly, which is a major market, is pretty serious. So apparently, schools are now allowing children to identify as cats, horses, dinosaurs, etc. So there's that. There is that. And you should probably notice that distractions are always going to present themselves in the form of an emotional bent. People are involved here. Apparently, even a teenager or some shit. I don't even fucking know, but the entire story is just corrupt. It's just so stupid. Like, it's fake. It's just dumb. Dell prosecutor Leslie Wolf tipped off Hunter Biden's lawyer. IRS agents plan to search Hunter's North Virginia storage unit per IRS whistleblower. Quote, ruining our chance to get to evidence before destroyed, end quote. FEC records reveal Wolf donates to Act Blue and Dems. Hubby works for you, Penn. How about that? Such a small circle they weave. We'll see if anything comes of it. This is interesting to note. I'm not sold on anything until something actually happens. And the odds of something happening are very low. Because, I mean, Biden's the president, quote unquote. He could technically just grant a pardon, right? Who cares? Whatever. Staggering. Children from fatherless homes most affected by mental health behavioral issues. Yeah, duh. Nobody was there to whoop that ass. No shit. You see it all over, at all levels, from all types of people. Whether they know it or not is irrelevant, but we all do it in some way, shape, or form. And that's just a manner of how we relay that frustration or that reality, and we don't even know it. Boeing charges Pentagon 52,000 for a trash can previously priced at $300. Yes, let's give the government more money. That's right. This is a very good case study in that theory for the geniuses that love to spew that one. So this is a pretty big deal because sometimes countries just follow these ridiculous mandates from these unelected bureaucrats. And what they're doing right now is they're trying to line up their policy, rules, and restrictions and how they do certain things. right? I mean, we're talking about censorship, social credit, and much more. You got to realize none of that is meant to benefit you. So, something you got to understand. Now, you got to ask yourself, if Russia was so wrong, why would you need to ban their books? Wouldn't somebody naturally read them and be like, well, this is stupid? You would think so, but apparently not. Apparently, they got to ban the books to make sure people aren't that stupid. Yeah. Cool. Cool stuff. Let's see. We're getting close to the end here, folks. Luxury recession. Now, this is when the recession really, really starts. Diamond prices crash. Rolex downturn persists. They thought the party was just turning up. But little do they know that they don't know where the party's happening. That's the best part. And that's what's hard for people to realize because they're too busy trying to understand what they can't understand. Right? That's why they're in and out of cryptos, trying to do this, trying to do that, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's never ending. It's really never ending. Future slide. Yeah, the market took a dip this morning. Even if now, so all right, let me explain why I'm going to read this, even though we know nothing's going to happen. The reason I'm reading this comment is because we have to understand how true this statement, or at least the sentiment in this statement was. I mean, maybe 8 years ago, right? Maybe 2 presidential terms ago, we knew that if something like this broke, that president would have stepped down in an instant. He wouldn't have been able to continue. But nowadays, I don't even know what to call it. I think the criminalization of everything has been so normalized that people are just like whatever about so many things. I mean, the fact that we are okay with the discussion of the mutilization of children's bodies. I mean, we're okay with that discussion. That's why it's even on the table. I don't understand why else it would be would be discussed, right? Like, are we aware of that? Because I think it's disgusting. I think the fact that it's supported to even be discussed is disgusting. It shows how low people's moral bar is that they even think it's worthy of discussion. No, mutilating a children's body is not worthy of discussion. In case you do not understand that, let me spell it out for you. You fucking moron. And that's exactly why these kind of people that support this kind of activity, this kind of behavior, their time is short lived. They're not going to be in charge of anything, overseeing anything, controlling anything, having power over anything over these next cycles. What's happening right now is that people are understanding and seeing what is going on in real time. If you think people are okay with any of this, you simply do not understand human psychology. Everybody, everything has a limit. And we are reaching that limit in many ways. Now, I'll read this comment and then we'll keep moving to wrap it up. If even a shadow of these whistleblower allegations are true, Joe Biden cannot continue as president of the United States, and DOJ needs to be torn down brick by brick. Quite possibly the biggest corruption scandal in American history. And that's actually accurate. It is the biggest corruption scandal in American history. But the question is, will something happen? And I think we know the answer is no. Distressed commercial real estate properties top 64 billion as, quote, full-blown trouble ahead. Sorry. Topple comes to mind because that's what's going to happen. But this is what's true. That market, that number, 64 billion, that's just the value right now. That number is going to increase. Simply put. Treasury extends rally, sending 5-year yields down 10 basis points. And that was a couple hours ago. It's not what the market's looking like right now. 2 years ago, the director of Europe's second largest bank said Bitcoin would be worth less than $1 by 2025. Today, his banks received approval to custody Bitcoin for their clients. How about that? A tale as old as time. Yeah. Biden rewards school lockdown champion with Homeland Security role. Yeah, you should probably know that that's a very, yeah. So here they just keep finding reasons to also complicate air travel for people. The latest is they warn of flight delays as 5G deadline looms. I don't really know what one has to do with the other, but whatever works for you, homeboy. Dun, dun, dun. Over 2,000 Heathrow staff accept pay raise and strikes union. How about that? That went on for a little while. Target put on negative catalyst watch at JP Morgan. I think they've already done their down move, so probably want to fade that. Germany signs long-term U.S. liquid natural gas deal to replace what? What? Russian gas. You don't say. Oh, how about that? Wow. Would have never seen that coming. Never would have seen that coming. Only did a stream on that. Would have never seen that coming. Supreme Court lets Biden shift U.S. deportation priorities. Court rejects GOP-backed challenge of Biden deportation policy. Yeah, they don't know what the hell they're doing up there. But that's par for the course. Confusion. Coinbase wins at Supreme Court as ruling reinforces arbitration. Good for them. Not that it matters. Banks going for single digits. Yeah, it was like at 12 or something last also. I don't know. See, what's it at now? Yeah, 12.93. It ain't that low. It's trying though. Surely is trying. FTC sues. This was funny. To claw back $700 million from ex-Clinton aide and other investors. That was funny. Let's see. We're almost at the end, I guess. Headline, courtesy of Yellen. Yellen says more banks likely to merge due to weak earnings. Merge means collapse and consolidate. Means get overtaken by banks such as JP Morgan. More consolidation in banking could be healthy, she says. That's what she says. The national debt is a ticking time bomb. Now you got to ask yourself, who do we own all this debt to? Something for you to think about. Collapse. Yeah, good luck with that. And that's the end of the party. And apparently Bitcoin's at 31K, but we know why. Right? Because now everybody's seeing that it's party time. But little do they know that they're just going to be paraded into the wrong party. And only then, after that party fails, will they figure it out that they've walked into that same scene in Eyes Wide Shut, where they're the new guy, new girl, and everybody's looking at them, and they don't have a clue what the fuck is going on. But everybody's waiting for them to do what they have to do. But they don't know what they have to do. The system does know what they're going to do and how they're going to fail. And that's why you got to know your information cold and not rely on some third party to screw you over, because they will. And that's why we only talk about real crypto. Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The Godwell told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Trust
that.
us. 100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep.